I would like to discuss about the future of education in the United States of America. I just received notice that there are many individuals who have discovered that their student loans have been wiped clean. That is an indication to what is to come in the United States of America. Bernie Sanders is an individual I follow, and he is very much a futurist. His ideas of education are very much a part of the future, where we have free education and we have free healthcare in the United States of America. And this is a clue to what is to come. And even after this pandemic, we're going to see a lot more reform in education when it comes particularly to university. We're probably going to see an increase in scholarship, grants, that we're going to see a lot more, even first 2 years might become free in many states, right? We know that New York has free college, and we know that California is sort of possibly going in hand with New York, and we know the state that I am from, Tennessee, the first 2 years are free for college, freshman and sophomore year. So we're definitely going to be seeing an increase of scholarship, grant, and as well as major reform for education. And as we continue on to, further generations, the Gen Z, the Gen Y generation might be the one in the United States of America to have free college across the board for all 4 years. We know in many North European countries that college is free, right? I've spoken to a friend who is from a North European country. I'm not sure which country, and she was only like 29 or something, or 28, and she had her master's degree, and she had it by the time she was like 26, right? And it was paid for. And that is the direction we're going to go in the United States of America. It's kind of the direction we have to go in with the student loans, where we see individuals having to get 3 jobs just to pay off their student debt that could be up to like $100,000, even more, right? I've heard of $100,000, heard of 30,000, 80,000, just to get your bachelor's degree, right? And going into master's degree, that's a whole different, right? That's a whole different type of student debt. And a lot of these individuals feel quite defeated, right? Quite defeated, because university, when we go back to the university and the original establishment, it was naturally philosophical. It was about creative expansion, right? It was not necessarily about obtaining a job. It was about having credentials, having qualifications, having craftsmanship. But the whole sort of framework of university, when we go back to basically Greece, it's about creative expansion. And we know on this planet, we're going to need more creative expansion, more innovation, inventiveness. And we're seeing a lot of Gen Zs, even Gen Y, when it comes to cryptocurrency, when it comes to e-commerce, when it comes to small businesses, online businesses, that is going to increase. And that is the future of this planet. We can project our population into the future and see it as these omega corporations and small businesses basically being wiped out. But the future, it's creative expansion that the future demands, because we are going to need innovation and inventiveness. And supposedly in 2050, we're projected to have 10 billion people on this planet, most of it in the major cities. So we're going to need some innovation and some inventiveness if we're going to have 10 billion people in possibly my lifetime, and definitely my kids' lifetime, right? So I think this pandemic, especially when it comes to education, kind of going the path of Bernie Sanders with free healthcare, free education, it's definitely working in our favor. And we can see in this time where we're in this crisis and we're being challenged, but there's always a crisis. And this crisis is, we consider, especially and from the perspective of, a United States of American citizen, this is a crisis that we definitely can handle. And this is a crisis that is going to give us reform in many areas that have basically been putting our head in the sand, or we haven't really been putting in the effort. We are gaining the resilience we need to make the effort to have this type of reform on this planet, especially in the United States of America, when it comes to healthcare and when it comes to education. Particularly with education, there's going to be with this, with Bernie Sanders, his sort of visionary kind of it seems very revolutionary. His future of the United States of America, but that is what we need. That level of creative expansion is what we need, because we are definitely transitioning out of a more patriarchal paradigm, and we're starting to transition more into a more prosperous paradigm, right? And that's going to require us as human beings to level up. And when I say level up, like, we're going to need to be educated. We're going to have intelligence to be able to level up. We're talking about artificial intelligence. We're talking about the technology continue to expand with 5G, 6G, 10G, 20G, right? We're definitely going to need to have the human species level up. And how human beings level up is through education. And in many ways, we have feel defeated in the educational world, especially as young people who, vast majority of us, especially minority groups of us, we don't, we just gotta just suck it up and get that student debt, right? But with that free education, we're going to start to see a lot more creative ideas, and that's going to bring a lot more inventions to this planet, right? When we talk about Nikola Tesla, when we talk about like Da Vinci, when we talk about like Elon Musk, these kind of inventors, these sort of scientific yet sort of visionary, revolutionary type of intelligent minds, we're going to see a whole generation of this. Because again, with 10 billion people on this planet, right, we're definitely going to need to grow up. We're going to need to emotionally mature, and we're definitely going to need to become more intellectual, and we're for sure going to need to have a better relationship with this planet, right? 10 billion people in this type of plastic and waste and air pollution, that's just going to intensify, right? 10 billion is just going to intensify all of that pressure that we have dealing with plastic and dealing with pollution in the air, and dealing with waste, right? Like excess, like this waste, as well as dealing with, even we think of like foster kids or homeless people, right? There's so many of these little areas that's just going to get more intense and just going to be more pressurizing in this future that is to come. So we're definitely going to need people to like university and the sort of original design of it. We're going to need more soulful philosophy on this planet. People who are relating to themselves more harmoniously, relating to their their past or their ancestral line, the ancestral karma. Also, when it comes to their kids, we're going to need to have a better relationship. And anything that has to do with a better relationship it's a philosophical nature that you obtain through university, through education, but is through your own critical thought. And I'm seeing a lot of Gen Zs and Gen Ys possessing this critical thought that older generations has been withheld from them, or it has been oppressed, right? Very dormant, and even atrophied within a lot of these older generations. But you're definitely seeing more of this critical thought within younger people, and that's just going to continue to be. Until we have a generation that has a more of a a harmonious relationship with themselves. They're not so much interested in the technology, more so interested in the technology of their own mind. And I think with Elon Musk as an example of technology that's going to lead us to Mars, and then Mars will eventually lead us to the galaxy, and then, Earth 2.0, right, in 500, maybe 1,000, maybe 5,000 years in the future, that type of vision or that revolutionary thought of what human potential could be is really goes back to the human mind and the technology of one's own mind. And with that, when people are feeling they have more creative expansion, even with having kids, people more responsible with having kids, right? So then homelessness and the foster system and all places around the world will start to see that kind of even out, like the checks and balances, right? People will be more responsible with having children, right? They will have children for reasons of they have much to give to the child, right? And we'll also start to see even a better relationship with the work environment, with the career environment, and people starting to manifest even newfound careers, even newfound corporations, that we're starting to get a glimpse into that, right, with these sort of online small businesses. But I feel like we're meant to even go beyond that in the generations to come. That's just like a doorway into the just a start of things that are to come. So I wanted to share this to you all, especially those who are concerned about the future of the United States of America when it comes to healthcare, when it comes to education, and how this will affect us. We're definitely getting signs that this is actually in the favor of the people. So again, with whatever conspiracies are out there about whatever this pandemic, the agenda, really, and things that I've been discovering is that this we can say this virus, this coronavirus, is naturally going to dissipate. It's going to leave by next summer, right? Also, with any sort of agendas about vaccination, that's not working, right? Because their vaccinations are not good. and for those conspiracies about this global vaccination, that I doubt that is something that's going to happen, because again, it's not good, right? So any agendas about this the collapsing of small businesses as an agenda for promoting the sort of mega corporations that squash the small businesses, that is an agenda that's not going to work, because when we come out of this pandemic, we're going to be drawn to more prosperity to support more small businesses. We're going to be drawn to actually build up our community stronger because of this. Small businesses are going to get smarter, right, because of this. Even if there's setbacks or even any sort of, it seems, defeat, that's just going to get our resilience, like our immune system. It just gets you stronger. It gets you, you've been through it, what it is. So you can predict and you can plan accordingly for something similar to happen in the future. Or, you can really start to get more intelligent about yourself and being on a planet as a small business with a lot more changes and a lot more reform to come. So this, like I said, there can be a lot of, we can look at it, this coronavirus and all the agendas and conspiracies, and really go deep into the rabbit hole. But this is just a simple example of how this is, you can say, Mother Gaia's way of getting us where we need to go as a human species, which is not these corporations squash these small businesses to the point where they don't even exist, where people have these vaccinations that make people sick. Really, it's about Mother Gaia wants human beings to get very smart, because we are star beings and we're meant to be in the stars, but we're also meant to have that creative expansion to be able to hold this relationship with the planet and then with the stars for years to come.